Yeah. Okay, welcome to week 5. We are the Literary Gems. We are going to be sharing our CalcDot books with you this week.
Okay, I'll go first. I kind of want to explain my book before I actually showed it because the read aloud I picked is kind of like a movie, which is really cute. But so I picked The Kitten's First Full Moon. So I just think the illustration is amazing. And since I have Kinder for my placement this semester, I think it's a really easy book for them to read because it has a lot of like snap words, but it also has some bigger vocabulary words that they can learn. But at the same time, it's not intimidating for them, and they can use the pictures for to create their own story. So like even if there's very little like dialogue and like sentences in it, so just if they had the pictures, they can make up their own story. But I'll play the video. Let me go your screen.
It was Kitten's first full moon. When she saw it, she thought, there's a little bowl of milk in the sky. Wanted it. So she closed her eyes and stretched her neck and opened her mouth and licked. But Kitten only ended up with a bug on her tongue. Poor Kitten. Still, there was the little bowl of milk, just waiting. So she pulled herself together and wiggled her bottom and sprang from the top step of the porch.
Okay, I'll just stop it there because it takes a while to get to the book. But so I think this is a really good book for Kinder just because they can read it on their own since the words aren't that hard for them to read. They know most of those words, at least the classroom that I'm in. Um, but it also teaches them like the big theme here is like to never give up because the kitten thinks that the moon is a bowl of milk. And then at the end, like she tries so hard to get the bowl of milk and gets in a lot of trouble, but she is able to get rewarded at the end. So I feel like that's a good thing for Kinder as well. But other than that, I think I would use this read aloud just because it's really animated. So it's like not intimidating for them because they think it's like a little movie, but they're also learning a lot from it. So yeah, that's what I picked. Okay, I'll just stop sharing my screen.
That was cute. Your kinders can probably read that.
Yeah, they're really smart, honestly. Everyone in the class, like they know a lot of bigger words, and I was really surprised.
That's so crazy. Okay, I will go next. Oops, hold on one sec. Okay, can you all see the screen? Oh, and I did Finding Winnie by Lindsay Maldick and illustrated by Sophie Blackall because growing up for me, the only thing that I've ever been obsessed with ever was Winnie the Pooh. And so this is the real life story of the bear who like was the muse to Winnie the Pooh. And I think sorry, you're not going to be seeing the lyric or the words on this because it like was too zoomed in on this certain YouTube video, but I liked the reader. So here you go.
So without further ado, here is Finding Winnie, the true story of the world's most famous bear. Written by Lindsay Matlick and illustrated by Sophie Blackall. Could you tell me a story? Asked Cole. It's awfully late. It was long past dark and time to be asleep. What kind of story? You know, a true story. One about a bear. We cuddled up close. I'll do my best, I said. A very long time ago, about 100 years before you were born, there was a veterinarian who lived in Winnipeg. His name was Harry Colbert. A vegetarian, said Cole. Bear doesn't like vegetables. A veterinarian. It means an animal doctor. I know that, Cole said. That's what I'm going to maybe be when I'm big. If a horse had the hiccups or a cow had a cough, Harry knew how to make them feel just right. Harry's hands were never cold, even in Winnipeg, where winters are so frosty that icicles grow on the insides of your nose. That was just the kind of doctor he was. But a day came when Harry had to say goodbye to Winnipeg. There was a war far, far away, beyond the end of the country and on the other side of the ocean. And he was going to help. He would be caring for the soldiers' horses. Harry rode east on a train full of other soldiers. He leaned his head against the window, watching the land scroll by, wondering.
I think is that good? Okay. So again, I'm doing third grade this year. And the reason that I chose this was because I think by this point, they've all been introduced to Winnie the Pooh. So now it's an interesting spin on hearing the real life stories that influenced it, and a lot of context and like vocabulary that'd be good for third graders. Veterinarian, vegetarian, these are like long syllable words that they could probably work through or pronounce. And also events that they're like just starting to kind of like understand. I know in their social studies, they're learning about like they're probably learning things about war, and they'll have questions about that. So it won't be too advanced for them, but will be really interesting and all relating back to a story that they know, but now it's kind of like new for them. That's mine.
All right. I noticed that me and Sarah, we have the same authors.
Do we really?
So Sophie Blackall. So my book is called Hello Lighthouse. So I'm going to share that right now. All right. By Sophie Blackall. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea, guiding the ships on their way. From dusk to dawn, the lighthouse beams. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, lighthouse. The new keeper arrives to replace the old, to carry on tending the light. He polishes the lens and refills the oil and trims the burned end of the wick. Throughout the night, he winds the clockwork that keeps the lamp in motion. During the day, he gives the round rooms a fresh coat of sea green paint. He writes in the logbook and threads his needle and listens to the gathering wind. The wind takes a deep breath and blows. Hello, hello, hello. The keeper boils water and drinks his tea as he fishes for cod from the window. He sets the table and hums a tune and wishes for someone to talk to. Every few days he writes her a letter and throws it into the waves. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and waits for her reply. The sky grows dark and the waves rise and crash. Hello, hello, hello. All right, I'm gonna stop it there. I picked this book just because I was looking for a book that had this Cal Cadeau stamp award, and when I saw this one, I was just like really attracted to the story, which is just kind of like it takes you back to a time where people had jobs working in lighthouses, and it does a really good job at kind of describing what goes into working in a lighthouse and just like bringing you into that environment of like being surrounded by water and waiting for boats and everything. And just I really love the illustrations for all of it, and I think that the words really match to the story.
Sophie Blackhall did my illustration.
Okay, I will share mine next. And I did The Beloved Where the Wild Things Are. I love this book. I've loved it for forever. And I read it to the kids at the preschool I work at, and they love it. So I wanted to share it. And I have a read aloud.
Hey, happy readers. Welcome to Children's Books Read Aloud by Happy Cultivated. Thanks for joining us for Where the Wild Things Are. Story and Pictures by Maurice Sendak. Click that subscribe button for more children's books. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines, and the walls became the world all around.
Okay, I'll stop it there because I think we all know that book pretty well. I like it because I think the central theme is don't judge things by their appearance. These wild things, they have, like they look terrible. It says they have nasty growls, but they end up being Max's friends and inviting him into their group. So I think that's a good message for elementary schoolers. I'm doing first grade this semester, that you can't judge people by the way they look. And I think that's just a good message for everyone all around. And I think I mentioned last week, but we're working on predictions. So the kids will read a book and then predict what's going to happen next. So I think this is a good book for predictions. I also like that it emphasizes imagination. I think it's important for kids to use their imaginations. And I think this could be a good art project, like draw your own wild thing. Or it could be science. Where do the wild things live? What habitat do they live in? So I think there's a lot of good activities that can be used with this book.
Okay, I will go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so I chose The Little Island by Margaret Wise Brown. Here we
Was
go.
a little island in the ocean. Around it, the winds blew, and the birds flew, and the tides rose and fell on the shore. Clouds passed over it, fish swam around it, and the fog came in from the sea and hid the little island in a soft, wet shadow. The morning was very quiet on the island, with only the spiders sailing their webs against a gentle wind. Small flowers, white and blue, and violets with golden eyes, and little waxy white-pink chuckleberry blossoms. One tickle-smelling pear tree bloomed on the island. And that was the spring. Then one day, all the lobsters crawled in from the sea and hid under the rocks and ledges of the island to shed their shells and let their new ones grow hard and strong in hiding places in the dark. And the seals came barking down from the north to lie on the sunny rocks and raise their baby seals.
Okay, I'll stop there. I think this book does a beautiful job with imagery, and I think it gives students the opportunity to imagine the descriptions in their own heads. And because the book is so peaceful, I think it's a great book to read after recess when the class might be like more rowdy. It also uses great figures of speech. For example, when it says violets with golden eyes. And I think it's a great way to support students learning with metaphors, idioms, similes. So overall, I think it's a great educational book for students.
Yeah, I think like all of our books, like the illustrations on their own, just kind of do all the storytelling. So it's like exciting for students to kind of look at it and see like the movement and what the words are saying with the pictures. So I think that's like what I saw throughout all of our books. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mentor teacher right now definitely uses reading as a means to calm the students down. She'll always break it up after they've been outside. And that would be a perfect book, Jasmine. It was so lovely.
I'm gonna say the same thing every day after the kids come in from lunch and they're all wound up and running around and being all energetic. The teacher will read to them before they go back to their work.
I love it. Anything else to say? Oh, what were you going to say, Jasmine?
I just said reading's a great tool.
Oh, the best. The best. Anything else about week 5? All right. Well, that's a wrap.